Hey kids, happy New Year. How are you guys doing today? We have an awesome show to start off the year with that I've been trying to get set up for a couple weeks now. I'm really appreciate this guy taking his time to come join us. Hope you guys had a wonderful night last night and party with your friends, enjoyed it. And I really hope that this next year, I can't imagine a more exciting year in crypto than 2023. I mean, 2022 was insane. 2023 is going to be insane. So, and even better, I would say. I've got Hexponential, which I love the name Hexponential, from the project WinWin, joining us for a live AMA this morning. Go ahead and say hi, introduce yourself, Hexponential.
Hello, and thank you for having me on Hexponential Vision. Appreciate it.
Oh, you
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Now, like everyone in Hex, if you go to a Hex meetup or anything, the first one is your origin story, right? So how'd you get into crypto and Hex and this whole crazy world?
Yep. So it was July 2021. And I was on Twitter and I saw a post from Aubrey de Grey saying, "Thank you, Richard, for the 16 mil that you raised for Pulse Chain." That's what it was at the time because the Pulse Chain sacrifice hadn't closed. And I thought, who's Richard? Who's this Richard Hart guy who's raised $16 million for Sens? So I looked into it and I watched I think the first video that I saw was Richard's debate with Peter McCormack. And which I think
was it the first one or the second one?
I think it was the first one.
Okay. And that's the one where he's just like scam.
Yes, that's exactly. Yep.
I hope you go to prison and get bum raped.
Yes, and I was like, oh, this guy's really mad. And Richard's response, I just thought he was just clearly highly intelligent and charming and funny, and I was like, oh, this guy's really interesting. So I looked into it more, and sort of, I hadn't been in crypto. I contemplated buying some Doge about 5 years ago or whatever, but didn't for whatever reason. And yeah, once I'd seen enough Richard content, I thought, I need to take part in this sacrifice. This is really cool, like what he's building and what Pulse Chain stands for, freedom of speech and all that kind of stuff. So I did. So my first ever crypto transaction was buying Ethereum on exchange, obviously, and then sent it off to my fresh MetaMask. And from there, my first blockchain transaction was the Sens sacrifice. So I've sacrificed to Sens. Yeah. So that's my
insane. And it's like a lot of people would say that's incredibly recent, like July 2020, and that sacrifice. There's so many people that have just managed to hear about the sacrifice just in time. That was their introduction to Richard Hart, which is I can't imagine a better, if you're gonna hit something like that sacrifice, it's probably a really good place to start, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Very worthwhile.
And being someone who is joined about that time, we're going on around 2 years for this. What is it like for you to be waiting for this? Not only waiting for the sacrifice or for the launch of Pulse Chain for your sacrifice coins, but also you've got a project that's launching on Pulse at the same time, right?
I'm just making a tweet right now saying live with Hexponential Vision.
Awesome.
Join us. I'll do two things at once. Okay, there we go. Tweet. Actually, let me hit undo and I'll add some hashtags in.
Oh, you're a professional. You're using hashtags and everything.
I'll even use a $sign. X. There you go. So sorry, what was the question?
I was saying a lot of us have it's been very trying for us. People are not patient, by nature. And then when they sacrifice for this new coin and they wait 2 years, that's that's got to be bad for just someone who sacrifices. But you're also waiting to launch a project as well.
Yeah, I mean, personally, the bear market has been horrible. And I know you don't lose till you sell, and I haven't sold, therefore I haven't lost. But the number on the screen is not pretty, but that's okay. The saying is build in the bear, and that's definitely what we've been doing. My co-founders, one of them in particular, is very, very experienced in crypto. Super smart guy, has heaps of just general finance knowledge, excellent technical analyst. So when we're in WinWin chats, often the conversation, after an hour or two, we sort of start talking about other stuff, and he's been educating us on all things finance and crypto in general. So it's been just a really educational, fun experience, the whole getting into the community and meeting so many people, being on so many Twitter spaces, doing these live streams, reading white paper after white paper, refining our tokenomics took us ages, like months, and we changed our minds about 10 different times. But I think every time we did change our mind, it just got better and better. And we're so proud of the tokenomics of what we've built thus far. It's really cool. So I know it was a bit of a ramble, but yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed the last 18 months, even though it has been a bear market. And well, not all of it's been a bear market. The last year, say, has been. And it's not pretty watching the number go down, but if you can be finding fun things to do in the meantime and DCAing, then hopefully it'll all pay off.
Yeah, you're incredibly calm for this being your first bear. I remember the first time I saw the price just go from, well, I was a Bitcoin maxi back then. It was 17. So I saw my Bitcoin go from 20 grand to 3 grand. And I didn't take it too well. I was I was losing my shit. I was like, this is bad. This is horrible. But then again, when you see that, the Phoenix rise of 2021, right? You're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. So after a few waves, you actually get excited when you see the price crash. And I'm really hoping we see it crash a little bit more, right? I mean, everyone's saying 11K and pray for Bitcoin, and that usually drags the whole market up and down with it.
Yep.
But I'm thinking because it's been so delayed, and because I think there's some more exchanges that we're going to see exposed as not being solvent, wow, I think we'd definitely see some wicks down to 8K, and maybe even spend some time at 8K at this point, because it's like delayed. You know what I mean? It's like pulling a rubber band back.
Yeah. Wow. What exchanges are you concerned about? Binance?
Binance is a squirrely one. Binance is mysterious. They're good at hiding stuff. I'll say that about Binance. But I would say that Gemini, I definitely wouldn't leave any money in Gemini. Wouldn't leave any money in Crypto.com. Wouldn't leave any money in Bybit. And there's a couple other that aren't coming to mind. But basically, what I believe is happening is they're sending the same pile of money from one exchange to another, taking a snapshot to claim that they're solvent, and then passing it on to the next exchange. The world of crypto is incredibly, incredibly small, right? Like there's really only a handful of people at the bottom of all these exchanges and most of these projects, because crypto is so new that there's only a handful of people that understand it, and only a handful of people with a couple of years experience in it as far as developing or running companies.
Yep.
So that small group, like if one of them gets sick, they all get sick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that we're definitely going to see some more stuff. And then, I mean, FTX was just like the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't even the whole thing. That was just one crazy group of money laundering psychopaths. There's way more where that came from, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially anything tied to traditional finance. Traditional finance has got away with murder in the last 100 years, right?
Absolutely.
Like the money laundering that these big banks do for drug cartels, and then they get slapped on the wrist, right? Like a few billion for them is like $20 to me and you.
Yeah.
And then you see them manipulate the price of silver and gold, slap on the wrist, $20. And then here they made, an insane amount of money manipulating markets.
Yeah, well, the GFC. Slap on the wrist, less than a slap on the wrist. They got the government bailed them out. So
yeah, they got rewarded.
It is absolutely incomprehensible, and I guess that sort of dovetails back into why we're in crypto, right? Like we don't want to be at the mercy of these institutions that clearly don't have our best interests at heart in any sense.
I remember hearing back in the day when I found Bitcoin, they're like, "Oh, we're going to replace the banks and we're going to go out around the government. We don't need anyone's permission to do this." And I was really excited. And unfortunately, we're still waiting for that to develop 10 years later, right? 12 years later.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. That's really cool. Now let me know. You've got how did the WinWin idea come about, and how did you get your team together? How did that happen?
So just a bunch of guys in like Australia, New Zealand, we were just chatting, sort of became friends. We were talking about Hex, and we're talking about Pulse Chain and PulseX and crypto in general. We got on really well, and then I remember one night, one of my co-founders, J-Bags, he said, "Oh, guys, I reckon we've got enough brain power in this group to do our own thing." And we all fell silent for about 15, 20 seconds. And he's like, "Guys, you there?" And the reason that we'd all gone silent is because I think we all knew exactly what how much work it was going to be, and it has been a crazy amount of work. It's sort of been all-consuming, but it's been a lot of fun. So that was kind of we just met in the Hex community, Pulse Chain, voice chat, and then we've sort of brought it as far as we have now. The thing that so originally it was going to be a bit of a Hex lottery, I guess, or maybe even with a charity element. So everyone pulls their Hex together for a big 1 year stake, and then the charity gets the yield at the end of the year, and everyone gets their principal back. Everyone gets their principal Hex back. And we thought that was a really cool idea. But we then sort of started challenging ourselves. Well, can we make it bigger? Can it be bigger than just Hex, even though we all love Hex? And we thought, yes, it probably can be. So we started exploring how that could happen. We started looking at ways that we could integrate other platforms like liquid loans, Mint, Internet Money, Wallet Dividend. Recently, Fame, the Fame token, is looking like it could work really, really well with us. And then we kind of realized, okay, so these things grow over time. And that's when we sort of thought, okay, this has legs. Like we can really build something powerful here that people are going to love. And the opportunity to have sort of the thrill of winning prizes, but none of the risk of losing your principal, we think that's pretty cool. In our research phase, we stumbled across Pool Together and looked at what they're doing. That's a really cool protocol. Ours is a little more, I don't know, how would you say it? A little more multifaceted. With Pool Together, you can only stake USDC, and it's only on Ethereum and Optimism from memory, whereas ours has the ability to stake multiple assets, not just USDC. So Hex, Loan, USDL, Mint, Internet Money, Wallet Dividend. It really has the ability to grow a lot over time. We're only interested in creating separate smart contracts for proven projects that the community loves. So if something new comes out and we're all a bit sus on it, we certainly won't be adding it into WinWin. Everything has to prove itself before we launch, or before we write a separate smart contract for it, I should say.
Awesome. And then there's also a lottery aspect to this, to WinWin. Is that correct?
Yes, there is. So basically the way WinWin works is it's like a conduit between the native yield bearing mechanism of a given token and you. So let's take the loan token, for example. You can go straight to liquid loans and stake it and get yield in USDL, or you can stake it via WinWin. When you stake it via WinWin, you get less guaranteed yield, but the rest of your yield goes off into a prize pool along with everyone else's, and you purely on your size in that pool and how long you've been staked for, you go into a lottery and you could potentially win, a really huge prize, even if you're a small player. And that's what makes it so fun. And then from a big player, so the analogy I've used, I said a whale gets a whale's chance of winning their own yield plus a plankton's yield. and a plankton gets a plankton's chance of winning their own yield plus a whale's yield. So it's beautifully self-balancing in that way. So it's like a self-balancing no-loss lottery, I guess you could call it.
That's awesome. I love the idea of the no loss lottery, because there's a lot of loss gambling going on in crypto. That's what originally drew me to crypto, was gambling. I heard about Bitcoin, and I was gambling online with Bitcoin and Ethereum when I was just bored back in the day. And a lot of people, what's up?
Was it successful?
I think I lost as much as I gained. I'd go up 10 Bitcoin and down 10 Bitcoin, because back then Bitcoin was only like $300.
Yeah.
And so like, it wasn't it. Now I think, I probably should have held on to those 10 that I won. But all of my Bitcoin, I sacrificed. I put into the adoption amplifier at the beginning of Hex. So I took everything and went all in Hex, because if Bitcoin had paid me interest, I would have retired 5 years earlier.
Dude, congratulations! That's a real success story. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I mean, it's when Mark Wilde wrote the book, The Second Crypto Revolution, he wasn't kidding. Like Bitcoin really was a revolutionary idea and experiment. But when Richard Hart showed up with finished code, audited, works, pays you to hold it, that really is completely revolutionary.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still don't know about it. I would say most of the 8 billion people on the planet don't know about it yet.
Exactly. That's our job as a community, to slowly but surely make sure more and more people do.
Mm-hmm. And so to reiterate, the lottery winnings come from the yield of staking these tokens. Correct?
Yes.
So these are all stakeable tokens that will create a yield on their own.
Exactly.
So you guys don't have to put in like a tax, buy or sell tax or anything like that for this, do you?
Correct. No buyers or sell taxes.
Awesome.
So yeah, we utilize the native yield-bearing mechanisms of popular pulse chain assets. That's in a nutshell what we're doing. And then we've got our WIN token. And when you stake the WIN token, you get automatically entered into all of the prize pools, plus you automatically get daily yield in all of the yielded assets. So if you go on to docs.winwin.finance, you can see how the prices are broken down and how the yield is broken down.
Well, let's do that. Let me pull it up right now, actually, because that'll work out really well. You can actually go through it in real time. People can see that. So awesome. Here's the WinWin site right here, right? winwin.finance. And I'll throw that up on screen in a second here. But this is if you said go over to Docs.
Yeah, knowledge base. That'll
knowledge base. Yep. Okay. And then Docs on this side right here, or
it'll click through. Maybe it's taking its time, or maybe it's opened up in a new tab or something. I don't know.
Oh, I think it did open in a new tab. Let me actually change my share screen to just my browser. That'll be easier.
Every time I open this up, I'm reminded of how long it took us to put this together. But it's a lot of fun.
Let's see here. Okay, there we go. So now we have the infinity stare of my laptop. But we'll go here to this one right here is right here. This is under knowledge base.
There we go.
And actually, I think I can, let me actually change this real quick to the full screen so people can see it a little bit better. Boom, like that. There we go. Now you can see it a little bit better. So here it is right here. And they said there's docs on the side, or just scroll down on here.
This is the docs.
Okay, great. Great. So welcome to WinWin. And this is explain. Go ahead and explain what we're seeing here.
Yeah. So this is the summary of how the protocol works and what the idea is. And then if you click through the tabs down the side, There's all the detail. We've got definitions for, for example, our early end state penalty, which doesn't eat into your principal at all. So there's no way you can ever eat into your principal in the WinWin system, which we're pretty proud of. And then, we've just defined some of the other things in the protocol. We've got our yield is broken down there. So that shows how yield for win stakers works, but also how yield for stakers of non-win assets, for example, loan, USDL, Mint, hopefully Pulse, internet money, wallet, dividend, etc. How that all works. What percentage of your yield goes off to prize pools, what percentage of your yield goes off to as a daily yield, base yield, what percentage is allocated to the win stakers. As you can see there, for example, 6% of the yield goes to win stakers for their prize draws, 3% of the yield goes to win stakers as base yield, but 60 goes to the same stakers as you for prize draws, 30 goes to the same stakers as you for base yield, and then 1% goes to an address with no expectations of how it could be used, but could hypothetically swap the yielded asset for win, then burn it. So buy and burn.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So the little tiny mystery box there at the end, little cherry on top.
That's right.
Cool. And then it says when Hex is state, it tells you you're going to win Hex in prizes. It says when Mint is state. What's Mint? Is that the
Mintra?
Oh, Mintra. Okay, so when Mintra state, they will be paid in Pulse.
Yeah. So this little section here is just showing that, because people would ask us when we were explaining the concept, because, oh, what am I going to win? Am I going to win a car? Am I going to win some NFTs? It's like, no, you're going to win the asset that you would get if you just natively staked what you had. So if you're holding loan, you're going to win USDL. If you're holding Mint, you're going to get Pulse. Like it's just basically, you've just gone to the yield factory via a different route.
Okay. Now you mentioned earlier if you emergency end stake. So let's say I stake Hex for a year with WinWin, and then I do an early emergency end stake. Then I wouldn't pay a penalty, but wouldn't there be a penalty on the Hex side of that one, or how does that work?
Yes. So the early end stake applies to all the tokens in the WinWin system. You've got to be staked for at least 30 days. Otherwise, you lose your yield, any prizes that you would have won, but it never eats into your principal, except for potentially Hex, which is more complicated because of the time locking. I believe that Merch, who's one of the co-founders, found a way around this. And then when we showed it to our devs, they were like, oh, that's exactly what we were thinking too. So I'm confident that that problem's been solved, but I personally don't completely understand how that section works. So that's something I would have to come back to you on.
Okay.
But yeah, basically, and it could be that Hex is the only thing that you can't end stake, that you're forced to do your 30 days. I'm not entirely sure, but basically they've made me confident that there is no point at any part of the whole WinWin ecosystem where you can eat into your principal, and that's important to us.
Awesome. That's really cool. It's risk-free gambling, right? As we were saying earlier.
Effectively, and then, the word gambling has negative connotations, and that's what our sacrifice is: a political statement against traditional gambling because it's exploitative. But things like Pulse Pot, for example, that's not exploitative. It's just, you take a risk, and if you lose, you lose your principal. But at least it's not like the house always wins. It's not a complete scam like when you go to the casino and you play on the pokies or.
Right. Yeah. So maybe like gaming would be a better word than gambling in this case, because you can play a game without a lot of risk. You can't always gamble without a lot of risk.
Exactly. It's like a premium bond in the UK. I'm not sure if you're familiar with how those work, but basically it's a bank account where instead of getting your guaranteed yield, your yield goes off into a prize pool, and then the lucky winners get the yield. It's kind of same concept, really.
Wow. Okay. And then going down here, did you want to speak any more about the yield here? Because as you said, Mint doesn't have a time lock. USDL, they don't have a time lock either, do they?
Correct, they don't.
And Liquid Loan doesn't have a time lock.
Correct. WD doesn't. Fame token could. I spoke to Buck from Fiat about that. Could be 30 days, could be 14 days. I don't think that's been set in stone just yet.
Okay.
A Texan token is another one that we would be looking to integrate into our protocol. And that's obviously got its own interesting features, like the scraping side of things. So, yeah, I mean, just the fact that we can grow our protocol over time is something really thrills me. I think it's going to keep us busy and having fun for many years while we see exactly what you were talking about before, some of the 8 billion people starting to join our ecosystem and understand crypto better and sort of take control of their financial future rather than just being at the mercy of the banks and getting, 8% in your superannuation or your 401k or whatever it is. I think crypto can do better than that.
Definitely. And I'm starting to understand that silence that you had on your voice chat where you're like, there's so many moving parts to this. It's quite intricate. So I've got to take my hat off to you guys.
Thank you. And it's been a little bit of a challenge explaining the complexities of the protocol to people when, some things in comparison are so simple. How's, with so many different aspects to it, it's a little bit complicated, but I think it's worth taking the time to wrap your head around.
Yeah. So for those that are willing to put the time and effort in understanding it, they'll be the first movers and they'll figure out the game theory the fastest, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. And you want to go on to prizes here?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
So if you've ever been on the Pull Together DApp and you start staking your USDC, it tells you your percentage of winning, and we're going to have that same thing built in to ours. So it's actually quite easy to see what your chance of winning is. But the way that we have broken it down is that roughly 1 in 3 users will win a prize every single draw. Now, that doesn't mean that 1 in 3 users will win the top prize, obviously, but it's a prize. So the first prize is 1 staker gets 60% of the prize pool. Second prize, 5 stakers win 10% of the prize pool. Third prize, 5% of stakers win 10% of the prize pool. Fourth prize, 10% of stakers win 10%. Fifth prize, 15% of stakers win 10%. So from a psychological point of view, if you are winning fairly frequently, I think that's really fun for people. Even if you're only winning a couple of bucks here and there, and you haven't yet, won the jackpot or the first prize or whatever you want to call it, I think it's fun, and it's definitely an incentive to keep checking, logging in to the DApp and clicking around and saying, oh yeah, look, they've added a new asset now, or oh look, someone else just staked less than me and won more than me. I guess you'd wish it was you, but there's always stuff to talk about. And from a marketing point of view, I think that's important. It's never every month. Well, starting off, we should be able to have prize draws every month, and then once we deploy new smart contracts, if we stagger them, we could be having prize draws weekly or even starting to get out every couple of days. So if you're a win staker and you get the opportunity to be in a prize draw, for Hex, and then 3 days later you're in a prize draw for Mint, and 3 days later you're in a prize draw for USDL, it's kind of just really, really fun. Like, you wake up every day and, oh, what did I win today, kind of thing. And even if you didn't win, you got some guaranteed yields. So I think it's a really fun protocol. It makes savings fun.
And that's what at the very base of this, it is savings that people are doing.
Yeah. So some people have said to us, oh, well, it's still gambling. You're not gambling with your principal, you're gambling with your yield. And that's a fine way of looking at it. But I think it's a fun way of saving, and it's completely fair. So if there's 2 things that are the most important to us, it's security and fairness. We were chatting behind the stage before the show about the security process and the auditing process and how seriously that has to be taken. But then when it comes to fairness, we've got multiple mechanisms built in to ensure fairness. So we've got the early end stake penalty, where if you withdraw your tokens within 30 days, you lose any yield that you would have accrued and any prizes that you would have won. And we've also got, you can actually click through to it if you want to. Click onto the fairness tab.
Right here in the next one. Okay.
Yeah, and just scroll down a little bit. We've got our time-weighted advantage. So this serves as like an anti-whale mechanism, in a sense that it prevents whales from coming in at the last minute, dumping a whole bunch of tokens in, winning the prizes, and leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So what this does is, if you want to be in the prize pools, well, you've got to stick around. And so it really incentivizes people to take part in the system. Delayed gratification. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, and as Richard Hart has taught us, the two people that make money in crypto are founders and holders. It's not the miners. I should say it's also the exchanges, but most people don't have a very good chance of becoming an exchange, right? And not many people go through the work and the craziness like you are to become a founder. But the easy thing is holding. And so by you encouraging savings and holding, that's where all of our X's came from Hex. Like, yeah, we made some good money in yield, insane money in yield, but our money came in holding onto the token and seeing that appreciation, right?
Exactly.
So if you're gambling or willing to lose some of your yield, but you're sticking around and using the savings mechanism of WinWin, I think you'll do rather well, especially if you stick around for a couple of cycles in crypto.
Exactly. I mean, if you held Hex Liquid through, its 10,000x, that's truly incredible. Like,
That's 10,000x.
You're not going to get that anywhere else in the entire world, other than crypto. So, and Richard said that himself many times. The yield is the cherry on top. So if you can, you're rewarded with the price appreciation of the tokens, and you get fun. You get the fun of, playing games with the yield. I think it's a great system.
Yeah.
One thing you said about the only people who make money in crypto are founders and holders, that prompted me. We were talking about fairness, and then you said founders. So we have decided that the founder wallets will not be able to win any prizes because we didn't think that was fair. So we are blacklisting ourselves, so we can't win prizes.
Are the founders able to stake their portion?
Yeah. So the founder wallets would get yield, but no prizes.
But they wouldn't be included in the lotteries.
Correct. Yeah.
Nice.
And a lot of feedback that we've got from the community on that has been very positive. So, yeah.
Awesome. I like that. That actually gives me an idea. I'll write that down really quick here. That's some good news. Okay, so now this monthly example, take us through some of these examples and kind of give people the idea of how this would work.
So this is something which could be subject to change. We're chatting with the devs about whether we want to get rid of the quarterly and yearly prizes and just do monthly, which is probably looking like yes, we will. So let's just look at a monthly prize up here, do an example, but understand that the values could be significantly higher than we were initially projecting, because if you get rid of the year and you roll all that value into the month, then the monthly prizes get bigger. But so user stakes 1,000 win tokens, which brings the total number of staked wins tokens to 40,000, and they serve 6 days of the monthly draw. Their odds of winning are multiplied by the days served in the stake as follows. Because there was only 40,000 in the draw and they provided 1,000 of them, that was 2.5% of the prize pool. So that was 1 in 40 odds. They were only staked for 6 days. So there's the factor of 0.2. So you multiply 0.025 times 0.2, and that gives you a 1 in 200 chance of winning the jackpot. And obviously, if they had have staked longer, they would have had a higher chance of winning. If they had have staked more, they would have had a higher chance of winning. So it's a little bit like a raffle at your local primary school or whatever, where if there's 100 tickets and you buy 50 of the tickets, then you've got a 1 in 2 chance of winning. Makes fair. So makes sense, and it's fair.
Right.
It's not like when you get a Tats Lotto ticket and your chance of winning is 1 in a billion, trillion, schmillion.
But you also get a higher chance of winning the longer you hold on to those tickets.
Correct.
So over time, you get a better than 2 to 1 chance, right?
Yes, exactly. But so too will everyone else. So it grows.
Right. Yeah. As if they're holding for the same time.
Exactly. So it rewards delayed gratification.
That's awesome. And then like the quarterly example, they say if you got 1,000 win tokens and total number of staked win tokens to 20,000. So the 1,000 win. Yeah. So if you stake 1,000 win tokens, it becomes 20,000.
So it's the exact same maths. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that we wanted to show how being staked for longer can increase the chance of winning.
Okay.
So yeah,
And this person serves 45 days in the quarterly draw.
Exactly. Now I want to stress that in the above example, they were staked for 6 days, but if they had have won a prize and then gone, okay, I'm outie, I won a prize, bye, they wouldn't get that prize because they hadn't served their full 30 days. So, and again, that's the anti-whale mechanism, preventing whales from swooping in, winning all the prizes and leaving.
Mm-hmm.
They need to stick around. So yeah, I think the tokenomics took a really long time to develop, but they're really cool, and I think people are going to have a lot of fun. And whether you are a whale or whether you're a small fish like me, it's going to be fun either way.
Well, and this puts a lot of onus on the UI people, right? Because you're going to have to figure out a way to make this visually easy to understand, and see how your behavior affects your chances of winning and your payout.
Yep, and we've got that in development. So the devs have done a great job so far with the prototypes, and the DApp mock-ups they've shown are looking fantastic. And I think when we go on testnet, they're saying March. I'm a little bit dubious that we'll make March. That would be fantastic if we do.
Yeah.
So let's say, maybe it is late March. Everyone will see how it works on testnet, and I think people are going to love it.
Well, and as someone who's wanting to launch on Pulse Chain, you guys are kind of trying to figure out when Pulse Chain might launch, and then you're trying to figure out your own timeline at the same time.
Exactly. There's so many moving parts.
And so watching your team work on this code, does it give you a better insight as to how long it might take Pulse to develop their code and get it ready to launch, or are you just as oblivious as the rest of us?
Oh my God, so oblivious. It's such a tricky question. I've noticed that Brett, one of the Pulse Chain devs, has been posting a lot on Twitter lately.
Mm-hmm.
If that's sort of giving anyone a bit of a bit of a nod, nudge, nudge, wink, wink kind of thing that Pulse Chain could be coming soon, I'm not sure. In my mind, it happens when it happens. Richard has said that he's not timing the bottom, and I believe him because I think he's, from all accounts, hasn't everything. I trust the guy, but it is coincidental that sort of we haven't hit a bottom yet and we haven't launched. So maybe the devs will be ready at around the time that the market hits a bottom. And it's a coincidence. What a happy coincidence. So I think, unfortunately, we're in for more pain in the macro. That's what J-Bags has been saying, and he's much more knowledgeable that kind of stuff than I am. All the headlines and the news. Buck from Fiat has been saying the same thing, that 2023 is going to be a world of pain. So maybe we'll have to wait for a bit longer for Pulse Chain. I have no idea.
Well, and the hardest part for me about 2022 was the fact that we weren't experiencing the pain. You know what I mean? It's like if someone's going to punch you, you just want them to punch you. If they sit there and you're waiting like 10 minutes for them to punch you, that 10 minutes is more excruciating than the punch, right? Because you're just anticipating this pain. And during 2022, I was anticipating all this pain, and now that it's finally coming, it's almost like a relief.
Well,
2023.
In a crypto sense, it was pretty damn painful. Well, Hex is down 96% from its all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
But like house prices, they haven't come down anywhere near as much as I think they probably will in the next year or so. Richard keeps on saying he wants to see Rolexes back on shelves. We were talking about this yesterday with my family, but apparently, you just can't buy Rolex. You walk in the shop, and not that anyone in my family really has enough money to be buying a Rolex, but if you walk in and it's kind of, the shop is just a display and you go on a waiting list so there's obviously, we've had so many years of cheap money and people have been spending like crazy, and you're right, the pain hasn't fully hit yet because there aren't Rolexes back on shelves, NFTs haven't gone to zero, all the stuff that Richard says, house prices haven't really taken much of a dive. Used cars are still so expensive. You know, people have like collector cars and people aren't dumping them. Like obviously people still have a lot of money.
People have been trading their used cars up.
Exactly.
Like their houses, which is insane because cars never appreciate in value unless they were some crazy collector's item back in the
Unless they're
past,
pretty
right?
special.
Yeah,
Exactly.
some crazy 67 Shelby, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or Ferrari or something like that. But yeah, this is time where you can like hang on to a minivan and make money, which is like, that's not normal.
No, it's not normal. Yeah. So it's kind of, it's a bit scary, I guess, the macro, but you know, it's something that none of us can avoid. So, you know, let's just hope that crypto will make it less painful and more fun.
Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to chat. I know I've neglected you in this. We've just been rolling so well into this information. I didn't want to stop it, but put any questions that you have in the chat, and we'll definitely get to those in a little bit. But we'll keep rolling here with the docs if that's okay. So we got the distribution model next, right here. And so the WinWin protocol uses the token WIN. This is what I was thinking about. As soon as you mentioned the WIN token, I was like, oh, I want to know about its tokenomics here.
Yeah. So that isn't public information yet, what the total supply will be. But it will be deflationary thanks to if you click on to, where are we? Click on to yield.
Okay.
I believe it's up the top.
WIN yield or
oh no, maybe
stake WIN tokens compound automatically, or let's see,
no,
yield. No.
I'll click on FAQs.
Okay.
It's in there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, so where does the yield come from? With the exception of WIN token, which is released according to a defined reward schedule that decreases over time, yield comes from the native yield-bearing mechanisms. So you know how Bitcoin has its halving? Well, WIN will have something more like a 7th. So the distribution is much smoother. But basically, yield to WIN stakers comes from multiple places. It comes from all the other assets in the system. But when it comes in the form of WIN, it comes from a fixed reserve supply that decreases over time because there's a burn built in. So WIN will be deflationary. Originally, it was going to be inflationary, but we found a way to make it deflationary, which we're very proud of. And then if buy and burns were to occur, even better.
Wow. Okay, so when it launches, it will launch with a total supply, and then if there's burning activated anywhere, then that will lower the total supply.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
awesome.
if buy and burn were to happen, and then you've got the deflation from that fixed reserve supply, it could start getting pretty scarce over time, which is something I think we would all love to see. You know, scarcity.
Yeah, that's a good pumpamental.
Great pumpamental. Yeah.
So would there be? I'm guessing because every time so instance, I take some coins that are on the list, Hex or one of the others, I stake them in the protocol. Then I'm given a number of WIN tokens, correctly?
No.
Oh, correct. No.
When you stake Hex, so let's say that all you've got is Hex, and you come and stake your Hex via WinWin, you will get your yield will be in the form of Hex because that's like normal, and your prizes will also be in the form of Hex. But a percentage of your yield will go off and be reserved for the WIN stakers. So that's kind of like the price you pay to participate in the system. So you probably want to be a WIN staker as well, so that you're kind of paying yourself, if that makes sense. Because the WIN stakers, by default, get access to all of the prize pools and daily yield in all of the assets. So
and the only way to, because you guys already did your sacrifice phase, is that correct?
Sacrifice is still running.
Still running, and it's going to run till a date or till a certain amount?
It's capped at 1 mil.
Okay, so as soon as you guys hit 1 mil in sacrifice, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, cap SAC. And the SAC is for a political statement against the exploitative nature of traditional gambling.
And that's for the WIN token right there. So where are you guys at right now? And
for a political statement.
What's that?
It's for a political statement.
Right. So you're sacrificing for the political statement. And about how much have people sacrificed so far?
Last I looked, it was 383,000.
383. Okay, so you guys are maybe close to halfway or a third, about a third through there.
Yep. And if there's pros and cons of doing your SAC in the bear market. When the market was so frothy, like when Liquid Loans did theirs, what was that? Almost a year ago now. 46 mil. Fantastic result, incredible, amazing.
So that's a lot of dough.
That's a lot of dough, and they will, with stable coins. With us, like we've had our most, I think the biggest token that we've had sacked other than stable is Hedron. Hedron's down considerably, so if you go and check our SAC wallet on Etherscan or DBank or Zapper or whatever, it's lower than it was. But then eventually, when the market rebounds, it'll go up. So it's sort of, there's pros and cons for everything. But yeah, the sacrifice, we were thinking, some people were saying, oh, you hit the 1 mil sack target in one day. Other people have said it will take months, and they've been right. It's been running for months now, and we haven't hit the 1 mil target yet, but that's okay. It happens when it happens. And I think when we go on testnet and the community sees what we've been building, they're going to go, oh yeah, I get it. I like it.
Awesome. So if someone sacrifices and makes a political statement against the harms of gambling, they may or may not receive a token with no value at a future date. And after that, after the sacrifice is over, if you wanted to get WinWin tokens or the Win token in the future, after it launches, then you'd just be buying it on a DEX, I assume. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So PulseX will be where it'll be for sale most likely. I can't imagine that this community will want to use other DEXs. We love Richard's products. So yeah, PulseX is going to be really cool and a great place to buy Win token.
Awesome. Okay, so going down here, we went through the distribution of the tokens, right? And then audits. You guys are working on getting. At what point will the code be ready to audit?
Yep. So we chatted about this before the stream. So the auditing process is our devs who are working on the protocol. They will review the code, make sure that they're completely happy. Then they will send it off to another dev team inside the same company who will do a review on it. Then once they're happy, it will go on to testnet, and we'll invite Pulse Police to come and audit it. Once the community has thoroughly tested it, we've had it up there for a while, and any bugs that might have appeared have been solved, we'll then send it off to a professional third-party auditing company for them to give it the tick of approval, and then we'll go live. So security is like, there's nothing more important than security, really. It's make or break. So we're taking it very seriously. We'll be using a reputable company. We won't be getting Fiverr audits.
Mm-hmm. Now, in order to get this going, or when this launches, will it require you guys to have any admin keys to handle anything at all, or are you guys trying to do this locked, immutable, like it's once it's done, it's done?
Yeah. So Win token is completely locked, immutable, non-custodial. All the staking is non-custodial, and because what's being created, they're all separate smart contracts. They're modular, so you don't need admin keys to liaise between the different smart contracts, which is something which we're pretty proud of, because we want to stick to the as much as possible to true DeFi. When adding a new smart contract, for example, maybe it will have admin keys for the first little while, just to make sure that it's all working properly. But it'll be the style of admin key where your coins can never be taken from you. There's no inflation. It's just purely to make sure that it's all working properly, and then you can lock it. So yeah, basically as much as possible, true DeFi.
Yeah, awesome. That's something I've thought about, involving my project, was I thought if there has to be any function done by anybody, let's make that a public button that anyone can hit, and let's reward them for hitting that button.
Yeah.
So there's a race to hit that button, and it's not in our hands. You don't have to trust us to do anything.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, so I like that idea, that ethos. Cool. Yeah. And then deployment is the next one here.
So this is just saying that there will be separate win allocations to an externally owned account that will hold an amount of win for bug bounties, hackathons, for potential liquidity providing, etc.
Awesome. And then the team.
So we, passionate group of Hexkins and Polskins, we told you the story of how we, conceptualized WinWin and what we want to build. And yeah, we just want to give the community something which is really fun and fair and a sort of a fun alternative to a savings account at the bank, which is boring. Obviously, Hex gives us that, but Hex doesn't have the prize element. So here we are. We're not, we wouldn't say this is better than Hex. We would just say it's a different, fun little thing that people can play with. Like personally, I'm not going to stake all of my Hex via WinWin. I'm not going to stake all of my loan via WinWin. I will stake maybe half a percentage. So we're not sort of trying to tell the community don't use other products, just use ours or anything like that. It's just a fun little side prize mechanism for people to use.
Mm-hmm. And now, are any of your team public? Or are you guys all pseudo-anonymous?
We are undoxed.
All undoxed. That's an interesting choice, because when I thought about making my coin, I thought, man, there's no way I'm putting my name out there. People are crazy. Yep. People are brutal.
It was something we debated very long and very hard about, and I think we made the right call.
Yeah, because a lot of people will be like, oh, if you don't show your face, I don't trust you, or this and that. For me, it came down to work and effort. It was as much work and effort to stay anonymous as it was to get the project done. And so I was like, I better just try to get my project done. And if I fail publicly. But all I can do is, try my best to be honest. And at the end of the day, it's the code that matters, right?
Exactly.
I mean, either this code's going to sink or it's going to swim. Either it's going to work or not. And so that's kind of what all you can go on in crypto. And there's so little finished code out there that it really stands apart if you go through the whole process that Richard Hart went through with Hex.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of those projects.
And there's a lot of very doxed people who have done some very dodgy shit.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I've met a lot of people at Hex meetups where they're undoxed, they'll stream or they'll be on streams, and you walk by and you'll hear their voice. You're like, oh, I know who you are, right? Like it's a small community, right?
It is. I think
if you go to a party and you're over there telling a joke, someone's gonna be like, oh, I know that voice.
Yeah. I think lately too, like a year ago, you'd go in the Pulse chain voice chat and there'd be 100 people in there. Now it's not running. Everyone's on Twitter Spaces. And I think there's 1/10 of the active participants doing the daily chats that we used to have, because it's a bear market. And a lot of people have gone away. And I think the people that have stuck around, I think they're going to do the best. The people who have been DCAing, people who have been looking for new opportunities, keeping their finger on the pulse, pardon the pun, rather than just sort of switching off the laptop and coming back in a year, which is a fine approach. But I think there's more gains to be had if you stay active.
I think it depends on your personality type, right? For some people, disconnecting and going away is probably better for them mentally.
Yep, true.
And for other people like you and I that kind of like digging through the weeds and obsessing over some of this stuff, it's probably better mentally to stay active, right? So I think it depends on the person, your personality, right?
Yeah, I agree with that totally.
And let's not forget, we have lives, a lot of us are still working jobs. We have families. We have just 100 things competing for our attention that, now we were speaking earlier, there's no way you can keep up with the Hex streams. There's no way you can keep up with every project right now. There really isn't.
There's so much content.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in Hex have definitely been relying on the 2x feature when it comes to YouTube, right? And to podcasts, because they're just like, there's only so much time a day and you're trying to get through as much information as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
when
Let's
you
go.
joked before about making
Go
a
ahead.
stream, it was just like the hits of the Hex community.
Yeah. Yeah. You just get like 10 people together that listen to a lot of streams and just try to shoot out as much information as possible as fast as you can and catch up on everything, because one person can't do it alone.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so here's the FAQs. Let's go over these, because this is like the meat and potato. This is what everyone's wanting to know. So is it a fork of anything?
Nope.
Nope.
Not all fresh.
And then I asked just a second ago, will it have admin keys? Nope.
Nope.
Will the project be audited? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Is the team docs? See, I just asked you these like 2 seconds ago. We could have just jumped to here. So no, and then docs in the future. That was actually my plan. It was like I was going to launch the coin, and then if it did really well after a year or two, then I would dox myself.
Yeah, it's complicated. I mean, if you think through what we're building, it sort of becomes a little bit complicated.
Right. And you guys have your own lives. There's the need for privacy. There's also the need for security.
Exactly.
When you're dealing with this stuff. So I totally understand that. Where does the yield come from? You explained that the yield comes from the tokens that they're staking.
Yep.
And let's see, how are your devs? Have you got good code? Yeah. So you guys are working with a good team of devs, sounds like.
Yep, we are. Our dev company is Rapid Innovation. They've been fantastic to work with. So, yeah, I have a lot of confidence in them.
And what other projects or code have they put out that people can check out from
if you go on
Rapid
their
Innovation?
If you go on their website, you'll see like some of the stuff is pretty top tier. I won't say what other Pulse Chain projects they've been working on, just in case people don't want that known.
Right.
But if you just scroll down their website,
Rapid Innovation,
you'll get a pretty good feel of the level of quality, and you can see some of the stuff they've worked on.
And that's wrapped like a rapper, WRAPPED.
No,
Rapid. Rapid. Oh, like fast.
Yeah.
See, it's that really thick accent of yours. And the fact that I'm partially deaf. So Rapid Innovations.
Yeah, and there's a portfolio. So it's .io/portfolio, and you'll get examples they've worked on. Exo5, Planet Finance. They make really good looking websites and really good quality code.
Awesome.
They've never had any hacks on any of their code thus far. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's very impressive. All right, and then let's see here. What assets could you add in the future?
So it's kind of unlimited as long as it's a true DeFi yield-bearing mechanism, staking function, whatever you want to call it. Then it should be able to be added to WinWin. But we're not, as I said, we're not interested in adding things that are sort of new and unproven and not loved by the community. We really want to just stick with like the quality projects. Hence me mentioning liquid loans and Mintra, internet money, wallet dividend, Fame, hopefully fiat. Those kind of things that we've all been chatting about for months, and we all believe in.
Wow, well, it's really impressive. I actually tried to figure out a way to envelop the good DeFi projects into one protocol, and I think you've pulled that off.
Thank you.
I fell for about 8 months trying to figure out a way to do it.
It wasn't easy, but yeah, it's been very worthwhile.
Hats off. Well, and the toughest part is, how do you convince people to delay gratification but still have them get rewarded, right?
Exactly.
Because you're trying to get all this stay in there forever. But if people lock up money forever, no one's going to do that. We all have a purpose or a reason that we're doing this. We all have goals for our money and finance. So how do you balance that? And I think you guys have come up with a really beautiful idea to encourage the one thing, but not lock people in for 100 years.
Exactly. 30-day minimum. Well, it's not even, you're not locked. You can leave at any time. You just don't get your yield or prizes if you leave.
Yeah, so you guys have the tokenomics of locking the win token hammered out, or are you guys still figuring out that?
Same thing. if you lock your Win token or you stake your Win token, you can remove it at any time, but then you'll lose any yield that you would have accumulated in those days before. You've got to be in there for 30 days if you want to walk away with some yield and or prizes.
And then the longer you leave it, it's open-ended after that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool for flexibility. I like that a lot. Flexibility is a lesson that we've learned the hard way in Hex, as we saw it go from 50 cents to 2. We're like,
yeah, it's such a tough one, isn't it? Like you look at Deci and Maxi, and you look at Hedron and all these things that have given people options for doing a native stake. But I think being hard locked like native staking gives you, I think in the long run could potentially be the best thing. And and that's the idea of Hex, isn't it? And that's the beauty, really, in my mind, of what Richard has built. Is it's teaching people to honor a commitment they made to themselves.
awesome. And how many? Let's go back down here. How often can users win prizes? And you said that it's gonna change based on the token and the participation. Is that right?
Yeah. So we were thinking monthly, quarterly, and yearly, and that's still potentially going to happen, but we're leaning towards just monthly. But if we deploy the smart contracts in a staggered fashion, then it could be that there's a prize happening once a week or once every couple of days, which is a great incentive to people to keep logging into the dApp. We'll probably have like a wallet tracker. That'd be really cool. I've spoken to Bucket Fiat about having us integrated into Fatty, his wallet, so that'd be fun. There's a guy who's made a great pulse chain wallet tracker called Ching Ching, which you guys can check him out. He's on Twitter. So yeah, I think hopefully there'll be a way to very easily keep track of your prizes and yield without necessarily having to log into the dApp every time. But even if you do have to log into the dApp, it's no big deal. So a lot of to come back and keep checking how it's growing for you.
It's going to be a hell of a challenge for wallet makers going forward. I know Internet Money is working on bringing a lot of features to their wallet.
Yep.
And so as DeFi progresses and evolves, those wallets and Staker app or anything you're using to view and manage your funds has got to also step it up and keep up with this complexity.
Exactly. I've got the Zapper app on my phone, and it does a pretty good job of tracking, but it's not perfect. And sometimes it looks like I've got 1/10 of what I've actually got. But I don't panic, because I think when you see that number being 1/10, you got to go, okay, it's more likely that the app is glitched rather than my wallet's been hacked, because take security pretty seriously. So and if we were on the Fatty wallet or Internet Money or anything else, Ching Ching, whatever it might be, and there was a glitch, it's no big deal. You can just patch that and get that fixed. As long as the security of the code is top notch, then that's the most important thing.
Right. And the next one is did you copy Hex with the staking features?
No, I can probably remove that from the FAQs now, because I think everyone understands that's not what we did. That was a beginner question.
Yeah, during the beginning of Texan token and its rollout, I spent as much time explaining the differences between Hex and Texan as I did explaining Texan to people.
I bet.
And I'm not even part of the team. I'm just a fan. I when I heard about the scraping mechanism, I don't know if you've seen this, but I've got a scraping chart.
Yep. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so you can do a scraping ladder instead of a staking ladder.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that. That sounds fun.
Yeah,
I like Texan token too, I think, and that'd be a great one for us to integrate with WinWin.
Right. Well, and I got all the yields wrong. I didn't understand their yield process, that it was exponential.
Yeah.
So I actually had to go back and redo my charts, and then the APY is just ridiculous. It's so stupid when you look at the APY on that scraping. And so I'll forward you those for sure. But that's a really interesting compliment, I think, to Hex. And I think that this, instead of saying a competitor to Hex, this is obviously a compliment to Hex. And it's going to appeal to people that Hex doesn't appeal to.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone should have staked some Hex. I just love what Richard has built, but
Right.
it's not, it does one thing perfectly, beautifully, fantastically, but it doesn't do all of finance. And I love that Pulse Chain and this ecosystem, we're kind of recreating all the different nuances of the financial system, or so many of them. You've got your CD, you've got the layer one, you've got PulsePot, which is sort of like a lottery. You've got our no loss version of a lottery mixed with a savings account. You've got leverage trading with Famous. You've got loaning through liquid loans and fiat. There's just so many things that we're building, and sort of, I think it's really impressive that the community has been able to so sort of dynamically capture so many different parts of the financial system. So I think it's hats off to the community.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so are there any fees or taxes?
No fees or taxes. Obviously, it's going to cost Pulse to stake your tokens or claim your yield, but what's a Pulse transaction going to cost? A fraction of a penny. So,
yeah. And then you went over the penalties, which you should probably go over them again, because they're not. That is a little bit difficult for people to understand that are used to the penalties of Hex.
Yeah, so it never, ever, ever, ever eats into your principal. It's just that if you withdraw your tokens, so you stake them, then you withdraw them within 30 days, any yield that you would have accumulated in that time and any prizes that you would have won in that time, you forfeit.
Okay, so you're giving up your yield and prizes if you pull early.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And then you got your graphics here. Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Thank you. Well, thanks. I'm not a designer. I did my best. The official page and designs, when done by professionals, will look even better than this. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to showing everyone what the devs have been working on, and the website, which is currently in development, looks fantastic. So, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, this is nice. And it honestly, the simpler that people can visualize and take in information, the better, because crypto is definitely the learning curve of crypto is significant.
It is.
And over time that'll obviously come down with better user experiences and apps. But I like the way you're putting this out visually.
Thank
you did
you.
a really good job.
Thanks. I mean, just for concept, I think it's been really good to help people understand what we're doing.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, this breaks it all down. Cool. Anything else that I should be checking out on these pages?
If people want to go to sacrifice.winwin.finance and make a political statement against the exploitative practices of traditional gambling, they can. It's a cap
sacrifice address. You guys accepting all Ethereum tokens?
If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the accepted tokens. Up a little bit.
Oh, right here. Okay. So on the Ethereum network, you're accepting these tokens. The Binance Smart Chain, these tokens, and then of course when Pulse Chain launches, we'll have these tokens.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm actually. When did you guys start the sacrifice phase?
Great question. I reckon it would have been like 4 months ago now. I'll have to go and check.
It's insane that it's so small, even in a bear market.
Yeah,
it's still really low.
It has been low, but that's okay. We're cool with
that. Well, and that it's better to over deliver, right? For the people that do sacrifice and believe in it.
So when did we start? 96 days ago.
Yeah. Yes. Almost 3 months.
Yeah.
Right about there. Awesome. So there's a sacrifice. If people want to sacrifice to this political statement. We also have, and then is there anything else we should cover on the website? Where did you get this picture right here? Is this one you took personally? Are we all supposed to be incredibly jealous of your vacations.
How cool would that be? That I got from Unsplash, and then just did a little bit of photoshopping.
Yeah. I've got Upsplash up right here on my desktop. They do have really good images.
Yeah, they do. And
Wow.
one of my co-founders, he did some photography training years ago, so he was able to help me do the photoshopping because I'm pretty shit at Photoshop.
Oh man, that's crazy. Now, without revealing too much information about yourself, what were you doing before crypto infected you and took you down the rabbit hole? Like, what was your life like before finding this?
Right. So I mentioned seeing that Aubrey de Grey had put out the tweet. Thank you, Richard, for the Sen sacrifice. And so I had and still do have a strong interest in biotech and anti-aging, gerontology it's called. And that was, the same thing that Richard had a long time ago. But I'm sure he still does. And that's why he decided to support the Sens Foundation. I'm from an advertising marketing background. So that's why I'm doing the streams and, trying my hand at playing designer, making up those graphics and that kind of stuff. We're a pretty diverse group, the founders. All got different backgrounds, and it's actually like we've used all of our skills to bring it to life because it's not easy doing starting up something like this, but it's a lot of fun. So that'd be something I would tell anyone who goes, oh, should I build something? It's like, yeah, go for it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but hopefully it's worth it.
Yeah, have things fallen into place? I mean, like, have people shown up at the right time, or have you guys been struggling? Like, was there one position where you're like, nobody's good at this, and we've got to find someone on the team for this?
We have had so much help from the community. Hold on one second.
Okay. Well, I'm waiting. I'm going to hit some chat up here. We got Purple Ashes. Good to see you. She sent an emoji that StreamYard's not going to show us. We got Bang Bang, Vets in Crypto, Red Squirrel, Oi Oi Pops. Lawrence, I need sleep. Love you, bud. I love you too, Lawrence. Hey, Uncle X-Ray. Happy New Year by Rich Liberation. Hexy Bob, you survived. I did survive. We had a wonderful party out in the woods with some friends around a bonfire. It was freezing, but it was a lot of fun. Lawrence, Oi Vets and Squirrel, 2023 bullish AF. Well, the truth is the reason I think it's bullish is because we have further to fall, but we don't have as far to fall as we did at the beginning. In 2021, we had a long way to fall from the top, and now I think we're a lot closer to the bottom. Red Squirrel saying, hey, Larry again. Lots of love. Oh, snap. We live. Sup, chat. Sup, Leroy C4. Leroy, you need to send me some more family-friendly memes, okay? Like the ones you sent me are hilarious, and I can't show them to like my own family. So get me some like soft R, some PG-13 memes, all right? Hexpo. Red Squirrel's a big fan of Hexpo. I like your shirt, Hexray. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I thought I'd jazz it up for the new year, man. Wear something a little fancy. Mr. Win, Mix AJ, is good to see. Biggie is king. Thank you. Yes, Biggie is king. Sandy Beach, so good to see you. And she says hi to everyone here. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Cheers. A lot of love here in the chat. Have a great stream. Happy New Year. Got to run. Happy, hey, Hexray, huge fan. Hi, fellow Hexy knitter. It's good to see you here. Sup, Hexy. A lot of dumping in 2023. Hopefully we get the dumping done this year. And it says, hey, y'all there also. Happy New Year. I'm looking for some questions here. Oh, we got a question. So do whales and plankton have the same chance at prize pools? If they stake more, they have a better chance. Are you back, Hexponential?
Yep.
All right. So I know you kind of explained this before. Maybe you can hit it again. I don't know if you did this before we answered, but
yeah, it's the bigger your size in the pool, the more your chance of winning. Like a raffle, if you buy 90% of the tickets, then you have 90% chance of winning. But the good thing is that this gives a plankton a chance of winning whale's yield, and a whale has to work out, do I want to have a really high chance of winning, but potentially lose it? Or do I want to just go and stake natively? So it's really beautifully self-balancing. I think there's really fun tokenomics and fun game theory for people to take part and decide how much of their portfolio they want to stake natively and how much they want to stake via WinWin.
So kind of like if raffle tickets were $1 and you win with $100, you could win the raffle, but the raffle might not be worth the $100 you put in to buy half the tickets, like a whale. But then if you do just a plankton and you bought one ticket for $1 and you won a prize that was worth $50, well then like it's just, smaller chance or bigger prize, bigger chances, smaller prize, right? Kind of like a sliding scale.
Exactly.
Awesome. And then we got Tortoise Johnny. He says, one of the projects I like, got a fan there. Nate Stakes in the house. Heyo. What's up, Nate Stakes? Good to see you. Leroy says, thanks for that answer. He appreciates it. Do you guys have any other questions here in chat? We've been going for, wow, I thought we were only talking for like 45 minutes. But time flies when you're listening to a delicious Aussie accent and learning new things.
Yeah, it does. All these chats that I've been in, you end up talking. And one thing I was going to say before is this community's been so supportive. We've had people who technically you'd call them competitors, and they've helped us. They've gone out of their way to help us. Like, this community is amazing. And it sounds like the level of polish of the streamers, for example, you're pretty professional. You've got a good setup, but a lot of it's just so grassroots. And these are real people who aren't trying to scam you out of your last cent. We're all actually trying to build a happy community that supports each other, that, we're all here trying to make money, but it's not dog eat dog like other crypto communities, and it's all just a complete scam. There's a real healthy sentiment in this community. Like, I've heard people telling really personal stories in the voice chats and getting really good advice and support. And I think it's an impressive community to take part in. So Eric Wall said, we're the misfits of the misfits. I'm not sure that's entirely true, but I think there is, for people who maybe they didn't have as much support in other crypto communities, when they come and join this one, they're like, yeah, no, these are real people who are just trying to sort of build a community and have fun and be supportive. So it's I'm proud to be taking part in it.
Well, I think it goes a lot to I think that's a big compliment on you, because I can tell just by this time we've had together that if I honestly needed help, and I reached out to you and your team, if you could help me, you would.
Absolutely.
That's the impression I get from you. So I think that it's reciprocal, where they hear where you're coming from, and they're more than happy to help you. And just like in the greens room, I was giving you the name of a hacker, people and resources that I have that I'm more than happy to share with you as we figure out this crazy system, and we take on this challenge of being founders, which is really, that's kind of the ultimate compliment I think you could give Richard Hart. Is people are saying that Richard Hart's the founder of Hex, but more importantly, he's the founder of the Hexkin community.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? And those 2 years when Hex was being developed, it was really a community effort. He kept checking in and asking for feedback from the community, and then they'd figure something out, and then we go on to the next problem and the next problem. And it was like seeing a baby formed before your eyes. That whole experience was kind of magical, I think. And the name WinWin sums up what you were just saying. WinWin is like, we want everyone to win. We don't just want to win in our goals in life. We want everyone to win. And most people don't believe that when you say it.
I think that's the bizarre thing about crypto, that, in some ways, I guess it's a zero-sum game. But if you add in delayed gratification and we have more people joining the ecosystem, you get the real benefit of decentralized finance and self-sovereignty, and not having to rely on these archaic, exploitative financial systems that have kind of only looked after their own interests for hundreds of years. So I think, the future of finance, if DeFi is done correctly, is super cool.
Yeah, it really is a I don't want to say altruistic, but I would say it's a virtuous cycle that we're part of.
Yeah, it does feel somewhat ethical, like you're helping people. Well, not somewhat ethical. It is ethical. You're helping people take charge of their financial future. That's a pretty powerful thing you can do. I'm gonna have to jump though.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the chat. It's been really great.
Thank you
And
for showing up with a great microphone. And
I'm not even using a great microphone. I'm just using my laptop.
well, you're doing. It sounds really good. There's been a few interviews I've done where it's very difficult to hear what they're saying. But thank you for your time and for explaining this to us. I look forward to continuing to keep up with this project as it moves forward and getting to know you and wow, I'm really glad you took the time to jump on this New Year's Day and hang out with us and answer questions. I appreciate it very much.
Awesome, man. I've got a link that I'm going to send you too. So
awesome.
Chat to you later. Thanks again.
Yes, thanks again for coming, Hexponential. We'll talk in the future.
See you, man. Bye.
See ya. Wow. So there's Hexponential. He's gone. Now you got me full screen in all of my glory. All 10 of you hanging out. I did give out some wrenches here. We've got we go back here. I dropped a wrench in Rich Liberations pocket. Purple Ashes, you've got a wrench. Hexy Knitter, I have no idea how you don't have a wrench so far, but Hexy Knitter, you've got a wrench. And then, of course, Taurus Johnny, thank you for joining us and bringing some positivity to the stream. I really appreciate that. Other than that, as far as I go, I've got some announcements. We're still working on the scavenger hunt. So if you guys haven't been going to hexrayvisioncrypto.com and going down the scavenger hunt list of the things that we're trying to reach, I think we're going to have our 12 words out pretty soon based on some of these goals that are very easy to hit for people in our community. So I would definitely suggest that you guys go to hexrayvisioncrypto.com and see what you guys can do to help us as a community hit those goals. And someone's going to walk with $100 on the first one, and then it'll most likely progress after that. Every little bit of work we do in the bear market is going to pay dividends and be exponential. As our last guest, his name is going to be exponential in the bull market. So really like that. Oh, it's it says the only problem is I don't get comps and free hotels gambling this way, but cool idea. Yeah, for sure. Community is how you win-win. Yeah, Johnny Torres says we have to rewatch M. Happy New Year. Who cares about a wrench? Where can I get one of those fancy shirts? I wish I had a better camera because this is actually like gold here. It's very, very flashy. I like it a lot. I got this in Vegas at the fashion show mall. So you got to go to Vegas. Next time we're in Vegas, I'll take you guys to my favorite Richard Hart-esque shops to have some of the cool, loud stuff to wear to parties. It says, I'm doing it tonight. What are you doing tonight? Happy New Year. It says, give me something to do while the minions slumber. Yeah, for sure. And then some more awesome emojis that don't show up here, but they do show up on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see Purple Ashes emojis there. Are actually pretty cool. I haven't seen some of these emojis before. So nice. And of course, enjoy that nice purple wrench or that blue wrench, part of the Blue Wrench Army. The only person that does not have a wrench that shows up on purpose right now is Samantha, and she wants to be special. And so there you go. Love it. Other than that, no shave tail pulse chain. This thing is probably going to be at least covered. You won't see my neck in the future. I don't think you'll see anything here. It'll just be down like this, it'll look like I'm like starting my own religion, or that I've, walked across the continent for some reason. No Shave Joe Pulse Chain, 1 million families. If you want to be one of our million families, hit me up. Go to the website, hexrevisioncrypto.com. There's a form right there. I don't share that information or resell it with anyone. So if it goes there, that's where it stays. And then we can add you to our emailing list and let you know when announcements and things come up. Not your keys, not your teas. Do not leave your crypto on exchanges. All right. Don't do it. Leroy says, my girl asked me to shave 2 days ago. LOL. You just tell her it's for a good cause. Like, if she doesn't understand that we're waiting for Pulse Chain, I don't know what you could tell her. She should also be just as interested in the launch of Pulse Chain as you are, my friend. Yeah, and let's see here. Other than that, we're just gonna keep rocking in this new year. I'm really excited to give away the first $100 that's in that Metamask wallet address, and I'm excited to do the next one as well. So if any of you have goals, you don't have to be a YouTube streamer that wants to hit 5,000 subs to join. Those are just the people I've been reaching out to first. If you have any goal in your life that Hexkins can help you with, even if it's encouragement, if you want to lose 5 pounds, if you want to stick to a New Year's resolution, let me know. We will add that to our list. We're here to help everybody win. And that's really how we win ourselves. Because if we get 1 million families financially free through the Richard Hart ecosystem, then the price of Hex is going to do just fine. We'll all do really well by doing that. Leroy says, I told her it's the winter. Yeah, that's right. But come spring, if Pulse Chain hasn't launched, you're going to have to tell her the truth about that beard, Leroy. Oh, hey, shoot, dang nabbit, wizard boy. We've got a watch party in Salt Lake City this next weekend, January 6th and January 7th. We are going to be meeting. I've got the address on Twitter. I've got the deets on Twitter and in the Telegram groups. If you're in the Salt Lake area and you want to come hang out with Hexkins during Maddie Allen's online conference, then hit me up or find the information online. I would love to see you there. We're going to be doing that Friday night, and we're going to start at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon Friday and go till late, not too late. And then Saturday, we're going to be meeting there around 10 a.m. and going till late. And we got some food, we got some prizes, and I think we're going to have an open bar, which is Hexkins love to party. You guys are insane. So if you guys want to come party with us, have fun, watch the live stream, and just get crazy with other Hexicans, I invite you to that. If not, if you are throwing a watch party in your area, then hit me up or post to Maddie Allen. And Maddie Allen will be more than happy to share that information on the Telegram group under Hex Meetups. So Hex Meetups, or if you're in the Salt Lake City area, there's actually a Salt Lake City Hex. If you look up, just search Salt Lake City Hex, it'll pull up on Telegram. You can join that group as well if you're in that area. And that's going to be a ton of fun. So, I can't believe I'm still buzzing off this awesome interview and learning all this stuff about WinWin, because I remember poking my nose in it a while back and kind of getting the general idea of it from some people. But yeah, I mean, Hexponential is an excellent interviewee. He's very patient and explains things really well. You'll probably be seeing him on a bunch of other streamers here. And so, yeah, I'm just so happy people take time to talk to me. I'm honored. I'm always very grateful. It says, I'll retweet the Salt Lake City invite. Yeah, so Leroy's going to retweet that. Maybe one of my bot followers will come. You can only hope. Other than that, remember this new year that what you do matters. It might not feel like what you do matters all the time, but trust me, what you do matters. Even if you're the only one that thinks that is noticing what's going on, you matter taking care of yourself. You matter chasing your goals. And I guarantee there's a lot of people that you don't know are watching you, and you don't know are noticing your actions. And you're going to have a way bigger impact, a positive impact on people's lives than you realize. So what you do matters. Remember that, and let that motivate you. Also, you are worthy of what you want. So whatever it is you want, know that you deserve it. And I know that's hard. That's a lot hard for a lot of people to accept and believe, but the truth is you are worthy of what you want. And then, of course, get ready to get ready. So if you guys have a goal, get ready for that goal to actually become a reality. Okay? Whatever it is, whether it's retiring through Hex and cryptocurrency, whether it's, a goal in life or a hobby that you're pursuing, prepare mentally and in real life to receive that goal, and you'll be amazed at the things that fall into place and the way that the universe or whatever it is puts things together. You'll be amazed that when you actually start taking little tiny steps towards your goal and actually preparing to receive what you want, how your subconscious and the world will just, things will just show up out of nowhere. And it feels like magic, but really it's because you are magic, and you're taking those little steps, and you're letting yourself know, you're letting your subconscious know, and the universe, God, whatever, you're letting it know that you're actually serious about what you want, that you actually believe that you are worthy of what you want. So they all kind of go together. So get ready to get ready is something I tell people, and that I try to practice myself, is get ready to get ready. In fact, I'm going to write that down, because it's get ready to get ready. So my goals, I have 3 goals that I share with my team and that I work on. One goal obviously is 1 million families. So I want to help 1 million families become financially free in my lifetime. If I can, that's my goal. The second goal is I love for my coin that I'm going to be coming out with this year, I would love for my coin to be a top 10 coin in crypto. That I think would be wonderful and beautiful, and I think that would make a very positive impact on not just the community that participates on my coin, but also the Richard Hart ecosystem. And then my third goal is to continue to build a community of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that know that we're here for them, that are using this information and this knowledge to their advantage. Hundreds of thousands of people as a community working together is a beautiful, wonderful thing. And we've seen what it does in Hex. Just in the Hexcan community is amazing, but it's really not that big yet. Like, this is the very, very early day. Like, when we say you're early, we're saying you're early because you are in Hex before it was like millions of people strong, and then tens of millions of people strong. Because over time, when Hex proves itself to the masses, when it continues to pay interest and not fall apart and not be a scam, and when people are retiring because of their staking ladders, people are going to take notice, and this thing is going to really go, like they said, it's pre-viral. You're early. The fact that people know the word Bitcoin, but they don't know the word Hex, that's coming. Like, the word Hex is coming into the global consciousness, and we get to enjoy this amazing ride of sharing it to people and watching it grow. Like, that's a huge gift. So I'm excited to take this journey with you guys. I'm excited to watch your guys' lives improve and change. I'm excited to watch and see you guys reach your goals and get what you deserve out of life. That's got me really hyped for 2023 and the next, hopefully this is the bottom of the bear. This is where we bottom out. 2023. This is when the money starts jumping in again and making the bottom, and then we get to ride this thing up for 24, 25, whenever it spikes and peaks again. And maybe the spike and peak will last longer this time. Maybe it'll last shorter. Maybe people will be front running. Who knows? Taurus Johnny says, amazing, bro. Thank you very much, Taurus Johnny. Yeah, so those are my goals. And I need to get ready for my goals. I need to get ready to help 1 million families. I need to get ready for my coin to be top 10. And I need to get ready for the community to be hundreds of thousands of people strong. And we're just gonna join all these communities together, the Hexicans, the Texans, everyone, the Pulsicans. We're all gonna come into some amazing community and share freedom, share information, and just share the love. Really, as hippie as that sounds, that's what it's about. It's about love. So I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys, whether you're in chat right now or whether you're watching this on replay. The fact that you would spend 10 minutes watching a video or an hour watching a video of mine or a half an hour on 2X is very humbling, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So you guys you guys really keep me going. You guys really inspire me, and I'm so thankful to enjoy this journey with you guys. Leroy's got some love. We're in an exciting time. Yes, I stubbed my crypto. We're really Tortoise Johnny says 2023 accumulating 2024 mad gains, 2025 realizing the gains and spreading the love. Honestly, every person like me that finally gets to walk away from their job, that finally gets to focus on what they want to focus on full time, is 10 times more powerful than they were. In my case, I was driving a truck, right? I'm driving a truck, and when I drove a truck, it provided for my family. So it had a direct effect on 6 other people's lives, right? And then it had an effect on my boss. My boss got richer when I drove the truck. The people that were waiting for the supplies, their lives were benefited, right? Because they're in businesses that needed that product. So I can see that driving a truck was it was beneficial to a lot of people. But the second that I started doing a YouTube channel and trying to spread this information out there, instead of affecting the lives of 20, 30 people, I immediately started affecting the lives of 200 to 300 people just right off the bat. And as soon as you guys take this idea or the idea from other people, then you guys are going to affect 10 to 100 times more people than you are currently. And we have some amazing, amazing hexicans. Like, I've run into people that are brain surgeons, spinal surgeons, people that sell multi-million-dollar planes, people that have run successful companies for years, but they didn't have the community. And so when they fell into Hex, they were like, wow, this is where I can actually make a difference. This is where I can team up with people that also want to affect the world in a positive way. And we have the resources, the money, the time, and the energy to reach goals that we couldn't reach before. And it's magic. It's awesome. Tortoise says, union labor here. You driving a truck fed my family. Yeah. Yeah. Me, I wouldn't say driving. I would say destroying a truck probably fed your family. Me being rough on the truck and going through tires and brakes, that definitely fed your family. That's awesome. Boom. Happy New Year's, Hexcan Boom. Hex Asians in the house. What's up, Hex Asians? Hey, Crypto King. Johnny Torres. Hey, boys. What's up, Finn Bear? How are you doing? We just had a wonderful AMA with Hexponential of WinWin. I can't wait for people to catch up on this information. I felt really bad because as soon as I started looking up WinWin to really get an idea for some questions, he had already had a really amazing video where all the way back in June. So in June, he was on Magic Carpet Rides channel. So if you guys want to see more of him, check out the Magic Carpet Rides channel interview of what is WinWin. That's insane. Like I'm going to go back and watch that, and I'm sure I'll learn more than I learned just by streaming with him. But anyways, Hexforce says, I work in a hospital. I get to help hundreds of people a day, plus help them become financially free. It's a blessing. So happy I'm able to do it. That's what I'm talking about. Like Hexforce One. That's wherever we can make the world a better place. That's where I think we're meant to be. Because when you feel like you're not doing anything other than surviving yourself, it's like it can be kind of empty and depressing. And the second that you get to, not improve your own life, but others as well, man, that's where, but it starts with you, right? It starts with you making promises to yourself, with you trying to reach your goals and inspiring other people. Because if you don't take care of you, I take that back. You can take care of a lot of people at the expense of yourself. You can really put yourself last and, sacrifice yourself for your family. Mothers do it all the time. A mom will spend 18 hours a day taking care of all the needs of her family. And at the end of the day, she hasn't eaten well. She hasn't exercised. She hasn't spent time doing anything she wants to do, really, other than taking care of her family. So you can operate in that way, but the second that you operate where you're taking care of yourself and other people, it explodes. It's exponential. Finbear getting some love here in chat. Oh man, why am I still up so late here? Hey Johnny. Now, wait a second. It's not New Year's Day where a lot of you guys are. It's like the 2nd of January where you guys are. So happy day after New Year's Day to you guys. And thank you for joining me here. With that, shoot. Holy cow, we're almost at 2 hours, right? Yeah, this has gone long enough. You've listened to me long enough. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your family. And I wish all you guys amazing 2023. I've got a lot of great interviews lined up. I've got a team of people helping me schedule and reach out and hopefully get more editing done so we can get more clean videos, like actual published videos. And that's gonna help us grow and reach tons of more people on YouTube that are looking for this stuff. So I'm looking at really expanding our community and getting as many people involved as possible. So here's the 2023 and 2024. Whenever the next wave is, hold on to your hats. If you have not experienced a wave in crypto, or if you experienced 2021 and you think that was crazy, the next wave that we hit is going to be ridiculous. It's going to strap in, folks. When you see your numbers in your staker app go add zeros and add commas, it's wild. So yeah, Romanian Dan's there. What up, Finbear? Hey Dan. It explodes. It's Hexponential. It's Hexponential, kids. Dang. Hexray Vision, I like that handle. I'm proud of grabbing that little handle, Hexray Vision, but Hexponentials, damn, he's got a good handle, doesn't he? And then cheers from Tortoise Johnny. So I hope to see as many of you as possible this next weekend in Salt Lake. If not, I will see you here on the internet. I'll see you in Twitter. Twitter is the dumpster fire that we dance around. And yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome year, and it's awesome to be a Hexagon. And, with any luck, we'll get Pulse Chain this year. And then if you think that things are crazy now, once Pulse launches, It's going to be just insanity. So here's to 2023 post launching. Here's to you guys being an amazing group of support and family to me. And let's get it. He says, but it's fun too. It is. Finbear, I'm a little bit tipsy, not gonna lie. All right, guys, I'm out. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Actually, you know what? I should go out, even though it's just by myself. I should go out with my awkward wave. See you guys. Okay. That's it. Let's go. Later, bro. Love you guys. Bye.